going to go ahead and start recording for everyone who is rewatching. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So this is our second workshop of the week. We are doing workshops Monday through Friday, just like normal. And those of you that have been here before, we're always kind of refining the process. So what we have been doing the last couple of times that actually seems to be working really, really well is working through our 6 pillars of health. So this is the program that I have building university. We have these 6 pillars. So essentially what we do is we work our way bottom to top, basically in order of importance, right? So we talked about mindset yesterday. Ray or Caitlin, you were both here. Can you tell them a quick synopsis of about what we talked about? Maybe? Did I put you on the spot?
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, so yeah, we just talked about like our mindset after we finish cheer or like a certain like phase in our life, like even especially after like a career or a certain job, and how we can almost prepare ourselves or get ready to wanna or just prepare ourselves for after we finish cheer or this job or whatever phase we're going
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So we talked a lot about transitions. So one of the underlying themes that we are doing for this challenge is awareness. So we're tracking like our macros, fibers, all that stuff. It's all about bringing about awareness and making sure that we're paying attention to more things so that we can make really good decisions based off of actual data, right? Rather than us just making shit up. So that's the idea behind it. And that's what we're going to do today too. So after mindset is our nutrition. So as you all know, we are talking about cravings today and what to do about cravings, how to identify them, stuff like that. So Eric and Stella, you already had some awesome information in the chat. So we'll probably talk about that too. So the first thing that I'm going to start with is just our tracking macros. So this week we've been tracking macros Monday and then obviously today. So like 1.5-ish days. And I imagine some of you have tracked before. Obviously my building university clients have. So first I want to do just a quick round robin about what tracking feels like, if you're noticing any patterns or anything like that. So Ray, how's that been going for you?
through. Yeah, well, because I'm in BU, we've been tracking our macros and it's been it's great. I think I've gotten to a point where it doesn't feel like a chore anymore. It's something that I'm like, oh yeah, like I can't forget to do this because I need to know what I'm eating when I look back and like look at my reviews and everything. So yeah, maybe at first it was a bit challenging and yeah, now if I see like a piece of candy, I'm like, do I really want to put that in macros? So then I won't eat it.
Got you. Absolutely. Caitlin, what about you?
What was the question? I'm putting in my macros right now.
She's like, oh, I got to do that. How has it been tracking macros? Have you learned anything about yourself? Noticed any patterns?
Well, I really like tracking my macros because I have goals and I'm not always the greatest at hitting them.
Mhm.
So I realize I need a lot more protein than I am actually getting in. Um, but it kind of helps me know what to stay away from. 'Cause like an IHOP breakfast burrito will knock out everything
Mm,
for the whole day. Like
mhm.
that's it. It will hit every single goal you have. But if you do like a Starbucks breakfast burrito, that will knock out like a third of the goal of the average. So it really helps to tell the difference between what types of foods make a difference because in your brain you're like it's a breakfast burrito. Yeah, no, there's a huge difference.
Not
So,
created equal, right?
yeah.
So I'm hearing two things there that I think are really important to point out. One is quality, and another is maybe portion control.
hmm
Okay, awesome. All right, Nathan, how's it been for you?
Um, well, I definitely think it opens your eyes to uh like if you've never done it before, how much you're really eating, if you can really measure for even just a day or a week, like and eat what you normally eat. And yeah, uh I mean, and from there you gotta decide what your goals are, I guess.
Absolutely. And what I heard there is that you're just kind of noticing what you're eating, right? Not necessarily changing it yet. Is that correct?
I've done it in the past,
Okay.
um, different times.
Okay. And is there any like patterns that you've noticed about your eating?
Mm. Well, I think maybe somewhat similar to what Caitlin said about the burrito is that um, often I find that if I am trying to track every day, that I often go all in or not at all. Like if I know the day's not going to be anywhere close to whatever I want it to be, then I don't even track it to take the time.
Okay.
But I will
And
say,
go ahead, please.
I guess one thing I would add, it does help if you can save meals or like copy meals from previous days or something, like if you're doing it for a longer period of time, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're totally not alone in not wanting to track when it's not a good day, right? What could it be? How could it be helpful to still track that day?
To see how much you really ate, to see, for me at least, it's usually way over what I would maybe have uh, been going for. Not always, I guess, but um, or at least the carbs would probably be over.
Okay. And how would that affect your behavior?
Mm, it might just be more consistent, become more of a habit than something I have to think about, I guess.
Okay. So if tracking on the days that are even not good or whatever you want to call it, right, where you feel like you're not going to be on track, gives you more awareness to be able to make sure that you're more consistent on other days, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Do you see the argument I'm going for, right? All right, cool. Just wanted to plant a seed. All right, Eric, do we have you?
Yeah,
Awesome. How's
um,
how's tracking been for you?
I might be against a complete grain, but I actually found out one, I hate it, and two, I found out that I actually might not benefit from it. And it's so
Ooh.
controversial. So mine probably comes from a unique standpoint. I got like more like medical help to kind of help curb my appetite. So I did like the whole GLP thing. I had a whole issue about just not listening to my body. And so when I finally started incorporating that, I'm like, oh, I actually am full. I just need something to actually help me understand it. Next thing you know, I've been keeping down, but I'm like down like 40 pounds since like April.
Okay.
And like significant changes of like energy, both good and bad. I realized like I'm not nearly as strong, and like that was like a really big shock for me. But when I tried doing counting my macros and everything, I was like, okay, I'm back on my fitness journey, and like I remember doing this app, and it was like I felt so healthy because of it. I realized that I wanted to be a little bit more free with what I ate, but just listen to my body more.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that okay, as long as I'm portioning right, I'm fine. And I see the results of that and I feel better because of it. But when I was doing macros, I felt like I was paying attention more to fitting within the numbers, and then I didn't want to log any more numbers of different meals. And so I was getting the same exact meals over and over again, and I hated it. So I was being less creative with all the meals I was getting.
Absolutely. And we're actually doing a whole meal prep workshop series. So if any of you want to attend the next one, it's going to be the week of Thanksgiving, that Tuesday. So just let me know if you want to come to that too, Eric. Something that you brought up that I really, really enjoy is that I actually teach intuitive eating. That's my goal. We do macros to track for awareness in the first place. And so that's where Ray is right now, still tracking. And then we actually teach how to do portion sizes and intuitive eating, which it sounds like you're at that point now. So what do you think, if you can give us a little bit of insight, allowed you to get to the point where you were able to do that and able to understand a little bit more of what your body was trying to communicate to you?
So first thing that I realized, one, there was immediate like negative discomfort, and not so much like, oh, I'm full, but like, oh, I feel bad for like leaving leaving food, and that used to be my thing. Like I felt pity that I had left food. I realized like it's okay to have leftovers, and it's okay not to eat leftovers. It's actually worse to it's okay to just let go of that feeling. So there was a lot of behavioral things, and I didn't realize how much behavioral like layers I was having to break. So that was tough. So it wasn't even like nutrition wise, it was just all mental stuff.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, when I actually tried it, I tried to I tried to overeat and I tried to eat certain foods, and then my body immediately had like an honest horrible time. Like I felt like I forced myself sick, like the 3 day flu, like it was that within like a 1 day. I was like, I'm never doing that again.
Oof. Yeah.
So if a guy had to take a 3 hour nap in the middle of the day, then that's when you know he's bad.
Absolutely. And so that's kind of forcing, especially with the GLP-1 that you're taking, right? Kind of forcing
Mhm.
your body to try and do or take in more than it wants. But now you're actually getting that hunger hormone, right? Satisfied. And you can actually tell the difference. So that's a
Yeah,
really cool
and,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the best thing is that I've taken it. I haven't been taking it as nearly as often, but I've been keeping the behavior of eating that little food, and
Ugh.
now I don't have to rely on it. I've been told like, oh, take it here now and then just to remind yourself like, okay, you can increase that appetite again. You can do this, but if you are sticking to a healthy regimen and everything, like get your fibers, your protein, your carbs, and everything with a good diet and hydration, like you really won't feel that disconnect.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. I love that so, so much. And that's something that I think is really important too. I'm sure you guys have heard of all kinds of like lap band surgeries and, all of that type of bariatric and any of the medications. Most of them are designed to make people eat less or to have less hunger, right? And we're kind of talking about cravings today, so we'll get into that a little bit today too. But that's essentially what they're there for, is to make you feel less hungry. And I remember a quote from, I think it was like this gal, the glucose goddess, and she was like, if you need to take a drug to, to not eat food because our food is that poisonous, then maybe we need to look at the quality of our food, right? Yeah. So, and most of the time, especially being an athlete, like Eric, you mentioned that when you're eating less calories, you're not feeling as strong, especially being an athletic person or even just an active person, right? If you're working out consistently, we need that sustenance in order to be able to support everything that we're doing, right? So we really can't go around eating 1,200 calories because that's kind of just your base, right? Have you guys heard of the term basal metabolic rate before? Yeah. So basically, like live and breathe, sleep on the couch. That's basically how many calories you're probably going to burn, right? Depending on your body type and all of that. So we need more than that, especially if you're trying to grow strength, grow muscle and stuff like that. So I'm a huge advocate for eating as much as we can without necessarily changing our body composition so that we can help support all the muscle gains and make sure our energy is good and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Stella, do we have you on microphone? I'll say that's a no. D, do we have? Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
I'm here.
Yeah. Hey, okay. How's tracking for you?
Sorry, I'm working in the garage and doing all kinds of stuff, so I didn't
Oh,
want
you're
you
good.
guys to hear all the recycle clashing around and whatnot, but
No worries at
I
all.
am here.
How's tracking going for you?
Um, I don't think it's for me.
Okay.
It's I've done it before, and
Mhm.
it seems like more of a hassle to me.
Mhm.
Really, for me, it's all mindset, and preparation, like I was saying in the chat.
Yeah.
Like if you can set your stuff up beforehand, which I what's a good way to explain it? Like if you set yourself up, if it's a pre-thought, if it's something you planned, um, it is very easy to curb the cravings. It's very easy, well, for me, to uh, be in the proper mindset of like, oh, I'm only going to eat this much because this is going to fuel me for that, and I don't want to eat this before I go do that,
Mhm.
not wanting to have a bunch in your gut before a run or before a lift or, for whatever event you're going to. So for me, it's more pre-planning that does the trick rather than kind of after the fact and then reviewing it and then thinking about it. But I mean, I've been doing this kind of stuff for a long time though too, so I may have different habits than other people,
I
and
was
I've
just gonna
gone
say that's a
in.
graduated approach.
Yeah,
We got a
and that's
veteran here.
and I've gone in and out of being in shape
Mhm.
many times. Like right now, I'm very out of shape because I let myself just kind of go after my shoulder surgery and actually
Mhm.
a little bit beforehand, and was just like, I'm going to kind of enjoy this. Um, but yeah, like joining in on this whole thing has really helped me just kickstart, getting back into shape, like getting back into things. So, um, tracking tracking is good because it really does. When you visualize anything, it really helps you uh, really pay attention to really let everything sink in. But yeah, I know when I'm eating my kids' Halloween candy that I should not be doing it, and it so I don't need to put that into an app.
Definitely. I love that. And like I said, that's spoken from like a true veteran of of doing this and building that awareness, right? Because that's our eventual goal anyways. At least that's what I like to teach. I think that tracking macros every day for the rest of your life is kind of fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It does not sound like very much fun. So that's not something that I like to teach, but I do think it does help us develop the awareness. And it sounds like you've been able to use some of those experiences before to be able to kind of be where you are now and have that like high level look at what you're eating, right? And know basically what kind of themes you can eat or how much you're supposed to eat just based off of your experience. Would you agree with that?
Sorry, I'm making noise, so I keep
Oh,
turning
you're
on the
good.
mic and off in but yes, I definitely agree with that.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, D, we got you. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so Matt, how's tracking been for you?
Is the mic working?
Hmm.
All right, cool. Yeah, hi.
Hello. How's tracking
What was
been
the
for you?
question? Um, so I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been able to start tracking, also because this week I have been struggling to even eat. I know that's a problem, and I know I've really been trying to work on it, and I've been be getting better at it, but unfortunately, school, work, I had to take up a couple extra shifts. I had to do some extra studying, some extra homework because midterms, exams, all that stuff. And frankly, I've been misprioritizing because I've been putting that above eating food. And so I'm trying to get it under control. Today I actually had a good meal, so it's a start, but I just definitely need to eat more. And then whenever I start eating more, I can track and then I'll get back to you on that.
I mean, you could track anyway. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
you taking responsibility there. Yeah, deprioritizing or not prioritizing in the right way is definitely a piece of that too. And that just has to go with all of our health, right? Working out and stuff
Hmm.
like that too. We all know how easy it is to skip our workouts. That's literally what tomorrow's about.
Yep.
Right? Okay, awesome. I appreciate it. All right, so I love that we have so many people in here. We are going to go a little bit faster with this next round. So we are talking about cravings. That's what we want to get to. So the first thing that I want to know, and I'll just have a couple of people popcorn or just talk or whatever. What cravings do you notice yourself having? And like when do they occur? Can I have like two or three people share? Caitlin?
Brownies
Okay. When?
and all the time.
All the time. Okay. Are there times in particular that are more brownie-ish?
I would definitely say when things are harder, like
Mhm.
yesterday, I'm not gonna lie, I got some ice cream with brownies in it after my procedure.
Okay. Yeah,
So when
absolutely.
things are hard, or like I go through something difficult and I'm like, I deserve a reward for this.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely. And that brings up exactly what Eric was talking about, that psychological aspect, right? We know that hunger is not just, I mean, it is hormonal, it is physiological, but it can be psychological as well. So that's a really great point. Anyone
Yeah.
else? Any cravings that you get? Yeah, Tomas.
So cravings I get actually surprisingly seldom, but when I do get them, they're very strong, is sweets, namely ice cream.
Mm,
And they normally happen way later in the day, like when I'm finally settling down after getting home after everything. You
okay,
know,
okay.
I guess it coincides with the reward system that we have in our brains, saying like, hey, I need something sweet after a long day. But then there was those times when the craving for some reason pops up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Not sure where that comes from.
Hmm.
And I know that's too late to eat sweets. So I really try to fight it, but sometimes it helps to drink like a Gatorade or something. That kind
Okay.
of helps curb it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely something sweet. And I know it's not because I'm hungry, it's because I want the taste.
Mm. Yeah, I think sweet and salty are probably the two top, right, for most people.
Mhm. Yeah.
I get really snacky when I have to do, excuse me, I have to sit and do projects sometimes, and I get like bored and antsy, and I get snacky, and I just want to eat chips or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Something crunchy, something salty. And so I know that that is also psychological for me. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm hungry. It has to do with the fact that I don't want to do whatever I'm supposed to be doing at that point, right? Uh, so we've all experienced that. Yep, absolutely. And so something that you mentioned that's a little bit interesting and I wanted to bring up as well, and this will be something that we will catapult into our action item, is kind of blood sugar regulation and how that helps with our energy systems. So does anybody know a little bit about like insulin and blood sugar and all that works? Caitlin, could you potentially explain a blood sugar spike and what happens?
A blood sugar spike is usually when your body is not producing enough insulin. Uh, and insulin is like the natural sugar that your body produces. So either a spike is you're too high or you're too low.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're on the right track. So a spike usually happens after we eat something that is high in either carbs or sugar, right? So if we're having a super carb heavy, and I'm curious about this one for you, Tomas, if you're having a super carb heavy, like a spaghetti or something like that, right? And or if we have something like a sweet, right, that causes the blood sugar to spike. And so we have a more severe spike, the more sugar is in it, basically. It gets into your system faster, right? And so then your body is supposed to come in with some insulin to kind of even things out. But the harder you spike with your blood sugar, the harder the insulin has to spike in order to combat it. And then immediately after that, it crashes below your baseline. Have you guys ever gotten one of those food comas where, like, especially if you had something sweet, you just like want to take a nap on the couch immediately afterwards? Like
Sounds like
that's
Thanksgiving.
what happens. Like Thanksgiving,
Definitely.
yes. And a lot of that probably has to do with eating so much too, right? Because a lot of us eat a lot on Thanksgiving. But yeah, absolutely that. Like that we get that almost like itis, right? In the eyes, and then you just want to take a nap. And like so a lot of that can be blood sugar regulation. So if you can start to identify that throughout your day is, oh, I ate this thing that was super high in sugar and I didn't use it immediately. So if you're going to go for a run or something, that could be a little different, right? But if I didn't use it immediately and it start to crash, maybe in the afternoon, that's a big thing for a lot of people. Maybe at 2 in the morning, like you said, maybe you had a carb heavy dinner or whatever. That can be a reaction to just your blood sugar, right? And so being able to kind of mix things to make sure that we're not having just carbs by themselves or that we're not having something super high sugar by itself, or preferably less sugar in general, right? Will definitely help with our energy levels being more smooth throughout the day. And then we don't have all of those spikes too. So like Michael is saying, is one of the things that you can do is kind of be a little bit more prepared to make sure that we are trying to pick foods that are a little bit more complex. So Eric, you had mentioned like drinking water, high fiber, stuff like that. That's all going to help a lot too, right? So since
Oh,
we're right on the edge of our 6 o'clock, I am going to go into our like takeaway / action items. So Ray, what is a craving that you have and how do you think that you could try to curb it or make it less severe?
Yeah. A craving that I have is probably the same as Tomas, having or like wanting sweets, especially after I eat something very salty. Um, I can change like the sweets from like a piece of candy to fruit, to more specifically cantaloupe. Cantaloupe's my favorite fruit. It's pretty sweet too. Um, Watermelon. But yeah, just switching the candy or whatever sweet, unhealthy sweet to a whole food like a fruit.
Awesome. And we're going to get awesome nutrients, vitamins, all that stuff from that too, right? And so then if you
Yeah.
can even pair that with something that is like a fat or a protein, even better, because cantaloupes, you don't eat the skin, right? So you don't get quite as much
Mm.
fiber. So yeah, if you can pair that with like a handful of nuts or something like that, even better. Yeah, totally. Caitlin, what you got?
Can you ask the question again?
Yes, what's a craving that you have? We can use brownies. And how could you
Okay.
maybe prepare and or curb that craving in the future?
Whenever I'm craving anything sugar or anything like that, I drink one of these.
Nice.
'Cause they're water with natural flavoring, so they have that kind of sweet uh taste to it, but it's 0 grams of sugar, so.
Absolutely. Great. And so one thing that I hear back and forth with both of you before we move on to everyone else is that we're increasing the quality, right? Or picking a better option. Eric had mentioned that with his pop. So one thing that I want to make sure that I mention is it's not that we can't ever have those foods or that we shouldn't listen to our bodies. We actually do want to listen to our bodies. It's trying to communicate something to us, typically that it needs energy or maybe it is psychological, right? So we do want to make sure that we're listening to our bodies. And then sometimes we're making conscious decisions to make that the exception. The problem lies in when we're always listening to those cravings, because what usually happens? You eat too much, you go out and spend a bunch of money, you're being super impulsive, right? And so those are the things that we're trying to limit a little bit more, just to give you a little perspective. All right, Nathan, what do you got?
Uh, well, I like chocolate, so I guess what I came up with is having dark chocolate because I do really like dark chocolate. I don't think I'm gonna have uh, stop eating chocolate unless I can for some reason.
Yeah,
So maybe limit it, and from my understanding, dark is healthier.
yeah. Have you had those skinny dip almonds?
Um, I don't. I have had like chocolate covered nuts, but I if I eat almonds, I'm usually just trying to get them down because I don't really like them that much. But so I'm just
I
trying to
think you'll
eat
like them.
some.
They're a darker chocolate, and the ratio of the almond to the chocolate is like perfect. Has anyone had them before? They are awesome. I would definitely suggest trying them because it's just like a nice light powder. It doesn't taste like almonds still. You know what I mean?
I'll look out for them.
Yeah, cool. All right, Tomas, what you got?
The question was, what are my cravings and how do I curb them?
Yeah, like if you know that you're probably going to have one, how can we be prepared for it? Or if you want to listen to it, right? How do you make that conscious decision?
So I've come to learn, like I said before, that I just want the taste of it.
Mhm.
I just want, yeah, I just want the taste of it. So I've kind of been supplementing instead of going for the sweets straight up. If I have fruit, I'm gonna eat fruit. Otherwise, because I only want the taste or the sweetness or a certain flavor, I'll drink one of my like zero sugar sparkling ices, or I'll pick up a Gatorade, or sometimes water just fixes it, which is perfect. I love water.
Yeah,
And
sometimes you're
so,
not even hungry, right? You're just thirsty and you didn't even realize it.
yeah.
Absolutely. And something that you didn't quite say, but I'm hearing just a little bit, so I want to make sure I mention this as well. If you have decent self-discipline, you feel like you can do this, having a little bit of the thing, just do it. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to make that big of a difference. You know what I mean? So that's an option too. Sometimes what I'll do is reach for like a more nutritious option. And then if I'm still craving the thing, I just do the fucking thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? All right, Eric, what you got? All right, we'll come back to you, Stella. All right. No worries, no worries. Cool. So one of the ones that actually gets me a lot is, like I said, snacky foods whenever I'm doing like a project or something like that. So something I started doing is making sure that I'm hydrated first, and then I chew gum because I realize it's actually a nervous reaction. And then the third thing that I do is I pick a low calorie option like a popcorn or something like that. That's going to be like the least amount of damage because I know that I'm snacking because I'm nervous, not because I'm actually hungry. So yeah, just being able to pick better options, being able to like figure out why we're having those cravings is really important. If it's psychological, is it physiological? If it's physiological, what is your body looking for, right? How can we still satisfy that in a good way, hopefully? And then being able to honor those cravings sometimes, right? Like we said, it's our body communicating to us. So the more that we can pay attention to that, the better, right? Okay. Any other takeaways or comments, questions before we go? I love that there were so many people in here. I feel like it's way more fun when we have more people. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Tomorrow is going to be our when you don't feel like it, aka when you have to work out or you're supposed to work out and you just don't want to. I'm there almost every single day. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. And hopefully I will see y'all then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See you guys.
Thank you. See ya.